Welcome on in, everyone. Take a seat. Grab yourself a coffee, a drink. Well, I don't know what you're getting up to. We're in crumbling Farum Azula. And you're here to check out the man himself, Ganondorf. And I'll just let him speak for himself here for a bit. Hell yeah. This is my Ganondorf build. And here he is. So I based him kind of equally on... Well, I based him mainly on the Super Smash Bros. One, but kind of equally between Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time. Playing through this game the first time, I saw Elmer of the Briar with the Executioner's sword, and him using magic to swing it around, and I was like, oh my god, it's Ganondorf. It's Super Smash Bros. Ganondorf. That's the Super Smash Bros. Ganondorf sword. Look at his nose. So here are my sliders. More sliders at the end, but like, the nose, the forehead slant right into the nose, most important part of Ganondorf. And then the forehead jewelry I recreated with a tattoo. Now here he is. Here are the weapons. I got the Mirai's Executioner's sword. Look at that, 1-to-1. That, we'll get to that later. The Dragon Communion Seal. Here's the armor. I got Maliketh's armor and Radahn's accessories. And then the talismans. He is effectively, when you boil it down, a drill build. Yep, Thorny Crack tier and Opaline Hard tier. More drilling, more tankiness to survive while drilling. Here are his spells and stats. He's level 190. I've got 40 dexterity, so that with the Radagon item, he's all the way up at 70 dex for maximum cast speed. Because I had him at level 166 and he was just a drill build, but then I wanted him to cast more. Because, you know, he's a Warlock. He's a cool guy. He's throwing spells around. He can chain spells together really fast now. So I wanted to focus a little bit more on that as I leveled him up closer to 200. And here we go. This invasion, the first like 3 or 4 minutes of it was just me down at Loretta's trying to figure out where the hell they were, because all I could hear were noises, and then it took me a while to realize they were way up above me, up at the start. Right there, for a second I thought this was a different game and you could jump from one ledge to a ladder, and then I realized partway through the jump that no, you have to go all the way to the bottom and climb up the ladder like normal. So I did that, and here we are. We got him. And then right here, this is why I have volcano pots on all of my builds, and you haven't really seen me use them till now, but look. There, a get off that ladder button. Nothing better. You know? And there we are. Volcano Pot Showcase. You're welcome. Use them if you haven't. That's what they're for. It's getting people off ladders. Now, both of those first two invasions we just watched were from a few months ago, before I started making YouTube videos. So I think he was down at 166 at the time, so I could still invade people at the top of meta, like 155. But they were good enough, and especially that Volcano Pot one, I wanted to show, you know, that historically he's been good the whole time. But from here on out, these are invasions from the last couple weeks. And here we have a summon who is doing the job for the host, who, look, right over there is just standing there. Goodbye. I built Ganondorf to be disrespectful. He was the first... I literally made him so that I could invade. None of my characters that I've made before him felt like I was role-playing them too hard, and they weren't invaders yet. And I was like, no, they're the nice people, they wouldn't invade. And then, to get myself in the mindset, I literally made Ganondorf so that I could play a disrespectful bad guy. And it was really fun, because I actually role-played through the game being like Ganondorf. He shows up, he's like, what am I doing here? And then especially as soon as he found out about Volcano Manor, he's like, oh, well, I'll take that over, that'll be mine. Might makes right and all that. But yeah, so because I was familiar with the game at that point, I rushed straight to the Shaded Castle, Elmer of the Briar, to grab the sword. And then I immediately went and got myself the recusant finger so that I could start invading. And then I just played the game through and built the build up as I went. And speaking of the build, Super Smash Bros. Ganondorf has a staple that we've just seen for the first time. Lifesteal Fist. It's Warlock Punch here, in the lands between. It's got enough hyper armor to break through the first part of Sword Dance right there. The disrespect of landing a Lifesteal Fist. And I don't have it optimized, so he's not one-hitting with it. Like a lot of people have been making one-hit Lifesteal Fist showcases. It does a lot of damage. It's on an occult spiked cestus, so it's hitting hard. But it caps out at about 1200 damage, so it's not one-hitting anything but the least vigor-pilled hosts out there. This invasion against Gnarled Branch here, I loved his build. He's playing one of the Tree Guardians, he's got the Poison build, everything about this build was great. I loved fighting him. But then he walked into the drill, and, Ganondorf's not gonna bow to you. He's gonna thump his chest and claim dominance over the fight. And he's so fun to play. Here's a good invasion. So this is after that last fight where you see the Warlock Punch Lifesteal Fist. That was one of the first times I'd actually used it on the build. And then, because of how long I've been playing him and how kind of one note, just using the Mirai's Executioner's sword as a drill all the time, it's a win button if you hit people with it. And so I started using it more like a smash attack in Super Smash Bros. It's not your base attack unless you're a C-stick gamer. It's a smash attack that you throw in at good opportune moments, but for the most part, you're punching. And I thought I did this to have more fun. This way I'm focusing on more spells, which lets me do fun things like knock this guy out of Waterfowl Dance twice in the same invasion. With 2 different spells even. Like, 1 Blood Flame Talon, 1 Claw. 2 different claws. Ganondorf likes claws, I would assume. He's here to make people bleed. And then, when you don't want to just use spells, you just punch people. Especially when their summon is over there. Like, a whole 100 meters away doing who knows what. Protect your hosts, summons. You cooperators out there, I cooperate plenty of times with my partner. We play all the time. And, don't let your host die. Here we got a catacomb invasion. Whenever you show up in catacombs in linear places, I always move through the level a little bit to see if there's any, get my bearings, see if there are any dead enemies, because dead enemies usually show where they've been. But they were back behind us, and I know where we are now. I see the exploding pots. I'm like, oh yeah, this catacomb. And there they are across the room. And I'm not going to go to them. I'm an obstacle. I said that in my earlier invasions videos. It's still true. They got to get through me. You know, throw a couple knives at him. Be a bit disrespectful. And then look here. For all of you Bloodhound Fang users, it's really easy to dodge that weapon art. Especially if you spam it. It's very easy to get that timing down. So, you know, be careful when you use it. And wham! The host almost got me there because I face tanked like 6 hits in a row from the Moonlight Greatsword, but he didn't get me, and then I killed him with a Lifesteal Fist. And does it get any better than that? No. No, it does not. So this was a run back. I lost to these guys right before this, but like immediately they all hit me I got blended so hard. It was embarrassing, but you know, it happens. It happens all the time. It's hard to win a 3v1 on the best of days, but when you lose to a group that you think you should have beat, it's good to go back and give it another go. So I went back, and I start with the fists, and I land a Lifesteal Fist right away. I haven't mentioned yet that Lifesteal Fist also heals by 30%, so you can use it in a pinch when you need some healing, and either you're out of flasks or you just, you know, you don't want to use one. But so I land that one Lifesteal Fist, and then I pull out the sword right away, because Super Smash Bros., we are C-stick gaming right now. We're being mean. We want to win this fight, and I got one of them, and then, oh boy, do I almost lose. Running away, healing, panicking. I start crouching as soon as I start to heal. I use 3 pots instead of 2. Take a hit from a boulder, but the host walks right into another drill, and then I get it. And that's it, you know? Persistence, getting lucky, having hosts with very not great builds, I would say. There was, you know, that host had enough health, but very little armor, and they were doing so little damage with any of those hits. Like, those beast incantations were hitting me for, like, maybe 100 damage a pop. So, I got lucky there, but I still won, and I kept it in. All of you new invaders, keep hope. You can win 3v1s. Even when you're playing poorly. You just need a build where the stats actually make sense. So this was a fight, you know, we came right into it, missed the beginning of it. I'm trying to get better at saving. I love landing Bloodflame Talons, it's so good. But I'm trying to get better at saving clips during invasions so I don't miss the good beginning parts. But these two were something. This young buck here, the Phantom, he keeps backing off like he's trying to let me duel the host. Like he just keeps staying back and letting the host have a go at it, but then every time I start to get the upper hand on the host, he's like, "Ooh, gotta come save my buddy." And he comes in and tries to chase me away. Ooh, almost got that free aim Lifesteal Fist. But yeah, anyway, you know, I'm on the ropes a little bit, but luckily the overhead slam of... I'm very familiar with the moveset of the Malekith's Black Blade. Cade Nine's Guard, my main Tarnished, uses it, so like, as soon as this host opens themselves up, I'm like, oh, I got you easily with a bunch of things. You know, you're locked in that weapon art now, done. I can charge a Flame of Frenzy at you. But yeah, so I can watch the host. I'm not too worried about them. The tracking on a lot of those overhead slashes with the Colossal Swords isn't very good, so I was able to side dodge a couple of them. And then the Phantom, young buck over there with 2 Eleonora pole blades. Double pole blades at the best of times it's effective, but it looks so stupid. It's one of those stupid, like there's no one in the world has the wrist strength to hold 2 things like that and swing them in an effective manner. So it's one of those setups that really breaks the immersion for me. I mean, yes, this is a fantasy. There's so much recovery time animations with colossal sword swings, so that was another beautiful landing. And then young Buck comes back in, too little too late, swinging his silly sticks around. I won that one. Sorry, guys. So this is a long one. I came in just a bit ago, and right away the Phantom dies, probably to birds up here. So magic-wise, my hotbar, I start with Flame Grant Me Strength, and then I have the Dragon Claw, which is powered up by the Dragon Communion Seal, and then I got Blood Talons, which, beautiful. You slash back and forth, they chain together. I almost got the guy. A beautiful Zoro One Piece cosplay, by the way, but I'm really glad I didn't kill him there, because this fight is a long, really good, satisfying one. So Eddie comes in with a running double curved sword slash, and then I bait, knowing he's going for that second one, and I land another Lifesteal Fist. Lifesteal Fist is all about really just knowing when someone's going to either be locked in an animation or they're going to be tempted to come at you in a straight line. And it's really fun. It's been really fun getting better at figuring out when to use it. But so right there, they have me on the ropes. I run upstairs for some space to get a heal. And this is a good invasion to show, especially for new invaders, is if you are having a hard time, run away, heal, take a breath, and then go back in. Like, unless they're about to fog wall you, you've got time. And even if they are about to fog wall you, that's them giving up the fight. You haven't lost if they go through the fog wall. You just didn't kill them before they made it to the boss. There, we got a little bit less hyper armor on Lifesteal Fist than maybe advertised earlier in the video. Maybe if I had more poise, I would have been able to handle that. Maybe back when I only had the Radon armor on. But fashion is more important than poise. Having a bit of poise isn't bad. But go with fashion over. You'll have more fun that way. And if you don't have enough poise, you will have to play better. And it's good to challenge yourself that way. We see there, I used my last 2 pots, and I'm not doing so hot. So I'm out. I am out. I'm backing up. I should have unlocked and just ran away, but I wanted to make sure they weren't following me. And I'm now I'm just running the hell away and hoping they don't chase. But I haven't given up. Old me would have stayed and fought that out, and they would have bowed, and I would have lost, and that would have been that. But I run away. I find somewhere to perch. We're using healing items. I'm putting on the healing talisman, Blessed Dew talisman for healing over time. I'm going to come back with full health, and they're not going to know what hit him. Now I got time to tell you more about spells. So, the incantations I said I got Flame Grant Me Strength and then Dragon Claw. So there are a number of spells, incantations, and sorceries in this game that the second cast in a row of them is faster. So they chain cast. Dragon Claw is one of them. Catch Flame is one of them. Blood Flame Talons is one of them. You can tell because he switches the direction of the slash. The second slash is faster. Those spells, you can also chain them together with other spells that chain. So I can start with a Dragon Claw, and then I can go right into a Catch Flame, a Blood Flame Talons, or a Boulder of Garunk, and it'll cast much faster than it would have following a different kind of spell, or if you had just cast it by itself. And with the max 70 cast speed that I've got him at here, I throw out spells like crazy. But look at this. Oof. Knowing the arc of the boulders and aiming at the first guy so that I can hit the second guy. Chef's kiss. And then you can see it right there. Eddie bows at me. Oh, I love it. That's respect. and this is disrespect. The chest pump from above. And that right there was such a fun invasion. Persistence. Retreating when you know you need to. Retreating to fight another day. And coming back in and winning. Play smarter. Have fun. Take your time with things. You don't rush it. The more you rush an invasion, the more samey they'll be. And that's what was happening when I was just using the drill sword all the time. Is I was always rushing. And so I would either win really quickly by getting them with a drill, or it would go really poorly and I would die very fast and get blended. I was running around that flat area just a bit before, quite a few times. I was checking to see if the cemetery shade was still there, because I thought I couldn't tell if they were up above or down below, and this is when I was finally confident on where I knew where they were. And I come in, half health phantom, with the Warlock punch of disrespect on the level 600 something phantom, and then it's just me punching this host. They dodge the blood proc, and I chase them back into the fire. And call that another good successful invasion, with basically enough runes at the end of that, from 0 to 250,000 basically. That's almost a whole level up at this level. And here are my sliders. So for making this Ganondorf, Elmer of the Briar was the guy that gave me the direction I wanted to go. I saw his sword and I was like, okay, Super Smash Bros. Ganondorf, here we go. Because there's basically 3 Ganondorfs in this game. There's Elmo Bryan with his Executioner's sword. There's Radon, who is basically just Hyrule Warriors Ganondorf. He's got the purple magic, the 2 big swords. He's got a horse instead, but, you know, giant red hair, big Ganondorf. And then there's Moog, who is Wind Waker Ganon mixed with old school Pitchfork Ganon. Like, they're all Ganondorf. But here, with Super Smash Bros. Ganon, we got the sharp nose down from the forehead, his most important feature, his giant red eyebrows, his big red hair, got that real good Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess look. He's a big boy, angry yellow eyes. He's got a big wide mouth that's almost always smirking a little bit. That was another thing I really wanted to capture. So the nose, the mouth, he's big. I'm proud of this Ganon. Use it if you like. I'm really happy with it. Thanks all for joining me on this and checking out Ganondorf. Like if you like it, subscribe if you want to, and there'll be more. I'm Cade9 Scarred. This has been my Ganondorf video, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.